How to work out efficiently without wasting time and energy to get the best results with minimum injury risk? The Physics of Fitness is the best program for those who are seeking to understand it. What makes our program unique is its simplicity to apply to everyday workouts. You will learn how to train smart, how to select the right movements, and how to perform them. Anyone who works out or involved in the teaching of resistance training will benefit from the best 20 exercises we call Brig 20. If you've been injured and try to work out safely, these are the movements. Check out the reviews from real people who achieve great results, even though they've been injured before. This program is created by Doug Brignole, Mr. Universe and biomechanics expert. The Physics of Fitness program is endorsed by 10 PhD professors and 3 orthopedic surgeons. If you want to build good, quality muscle and look buff, there is no magic pill. Hard work alone is not going to get you there. Using efficient movements the right way will be your shortcut. This is a game changer. Try it and you will see for yourself. Click the link below to check out all the features of our program. Train smart with Smart Training 365.
Hello and welcome to Smart Training 365. This is Mo Larby and I'm with Doug Brignole. How you doing, Doug?
Hey Mo, good. How are you?
Good. Today's video is special because it's a certification month. So we're talking about the Physics of Fitness online program. Some of our students who decided to join us, and we're happy to have them with us. So we would like to hear their opinion and their experience about our program. Welcome everyone to our call and thank you for joining us. Let's start with Sean. Welcome, Sean. Can you tell us
Thank you.
how did you discover us and why you decided to join the Physics of Fitness program? How is it benefiting you?
Well, I first started following Doug years ago when he was first on Rick's channel. And that's how I originally knew about him. And way back then, one of the first exercises he recommended was the lat pull-in. For any of these other videos, I started trying it at the gym and I really felt a connection, more of a connection than just doing lat pull downs, dumbbell rows. And I'm getting old, I just turned 46. I've always been in and out of the gym to the point where if I've done exercises like a bench press, squat, deadlift, it always seemed like the heavier I tried to go on these exercises, I started having joint issues, elbow problems, wrist problems. Anytime I would try to do a squat, it didn't feel right. My back, would start hurting, or I would have extreme tension in my hamstrings to the point where I couldn't keep squatting just after like 1 or 2 sets. So there's always been a disconnect from these certain movements that they always preach, right? Even in the NSCA book, they always benchmark the deadlift, the squat, these type of exercises, compound exercises will get you bigger, right? Well, every time I did it, of course, I would start having issues. So I started focusing more on isolation movements. And I've always done that. So then when you and Doug put the Smart Training 365 program together, the biomechanics course, I really felt in line with it. And of course, having joint issues, I'm not a strong man, right? So I don't want to just go in the gym and try to put up 300, 350 pounds on a deadlift or a bench every time I go in there, right? So I focus on isolation movements. It follows in line with what I already want to do. I feel great. And it just really is amazing once you find out the proper resistance in the movement and just isolating a particular muscle to almost 100%, right? It's really been more beneficial for me to do that. And I don't have to worry about going in and writing all my weights down and say, well, this week I need to put 350 pounds on a bar. And especially at the gym that I go to, I used to work out at home. Now I go back to the gym And I don't want to be the guy that's bringing like, you know, 20, 45-pound plates over to a bar trying to load it up and do 4 reps, right? So it's more efficient. It's less stress on my joints. And it's one of the big reasons why I, you know, decided to go ahead and get the certification. And I'm very, very happy I did. It's been, you know, a real good breakthrough. Like I said, I'm 46 now. I started putting more size back on my frame. For a while, I was stagnant, right? Doing all these other exercises, too much volume. So that's pretty much, you know, why I decided to go with the program. Plus, I kind of like YouTube. So, you know, you guys are okay. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that's my backstory.
Thank you very much. Thank you,
Thanks.
Sean. And we're happy to have you with us, Doug.
Yeah, you know, it's obviously his story makes perfect sense. You know, we were all told to use compound exercises but no one ever spelled out for us, as they should have. The industry should have spelled out for us, you know, how, let's say, a barbell squat differentiates from a leg extension, right? They should have said, well, the quadricep is participating in both. Here's the pros and cons of the squat or of the leg extension. Here's the amount of load, the percentage of load that you're getting with a squat versus the percentage of load on the quadricep that you're getting. And they don't explain that. So people are operating in the dark. They're just, you know, thinking that the more weight they can move, the automatic assumption is if I can move more weight, I must be loading that muscle more. But no, it's not at all correct.
Hey, Nuray.
Hi.
Welcome. Nice
Thank
to meet you.
It's nice meeting you too.
So, how did you find out about us, and what made you enroll in the physics of fitness, and how is it benefiting you?
Unlike the first gentleman, I did not find Doug or you years ago. It was actually months ago. And I actually messaged Doug as soon as I found out about him on how I could get his book. A friend of mine from the gym had made a comment about training styles and this and that. So he just dropped the seed and I just started watering it. And the next thing I know, I was all over the YouTube videos. And I started off with the 50, 40, 30, 20.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing front and then back. Okay, so that was my split.
Mm-hmm.
And I was dominating the cable machine. I mean, like people would come in and they'd see me and then they just, oh, she's on the machine. I just, you know, kick back their heels and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So, and then once I got the book in my hand, I would take the book in with me.
Yeah.
And I'm doing the exercises and just thumbing through the book. And okay, so I'm reading because, you know, I'm oxygenating my brain and I'm able to, you know, remember everything better, right? Because that's the type of learner I am. I'm visual and hands-on. So when I do that, or when I was doing that, a lot of people were coming in kind of like, what is she doing? Because I'm a sissy squat fanatic. I've always been. And so being able to do the sissy squats with the cable machine was one of my all-time favorites, right? So people are coming over and they're like, what the hell is she doing? And it was just nice to lead by example. And then I had a couple of guys who were kind of looking at me and I'd say, hey, you know, let me show you something. And my favorite line is flex your pecs for me, right?
Yeah.
Do this movement. And then I'm like, so what are you doing up here?
Yeah, right.
Oh, well, I'm working my upper pec. Okay, well, let me show you something. Come here, bring me the, you know, the bench press. And then at the decline bench and I have them doing some exercises. Oh my God, this is much harder than, you know, yeah, you're over here throwing up 65 plus dumbbells. And then I've got you over here doing 45, maybe 50 pounds on a cable machine.
Yeah.
You know, so like you said before, Doug, the ego is something that they have to let go of first.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went through school to get my personal training license, a lot of the things that I was taught were unnatural to me, if that makes sense. So when I got your book and started watching a lot of your videos and YouTube videos, a lot of things made more sense. It felt right. And then to delve into the physics of fitness along with my book, which I love the program, by the way. And I just finished it. And the program I would suggest to anyone because it taps into all the learning styles. being able to see you speak, your mannerisms, a lot of it, since I said I was visual, I had the book there, the PDF files are there, and everything just is intertwined, right? So able to take in all of that, go into the gym with my book in hand. And if anyone has any questions, you know, sit there and teach them. Teaching them helps me learn as well, right? So I really appreciate you for bringing this forward, because for me, it's continuing education. But it seems as though it's continuing education the right way, right? So now anytime I go to the gym, I have to actually wear a hat over my hijab, like blinders, so I'm not looking at people, you know, and you're doing that a little bit incorrectly, you're doing that, you know, because like you said earlier, you cannot suggest things to people who are not open to receiving them.
Right.
Fortunately, I do have, because I'm at a military base in Germany. That's where we're stationed right now. So it's nice to be able to help lead the way to a lot of the soldiers that are there, because they're younger. I'm 43 years old. And this is another reason why I can really relate to the program, because I'm not in the gym doing 4 or 5 different exercises per muscle group.
Right.
I'm doing one. Having the program, also the 16-week periodization program, which I also have, is good for me because I can, you know, change my split whenever, you know, however I want, 2-day split, 3 days or 4-day split. So both of those programs together for me go hand in hand. They're intertwined and I absolutely love them. My gains, I had a little boy about 2 years ago. I was able to bounce back. You know, my gains are fantastic. I see my biceps really responding to the program. Legs are coming in better. They're filling up better. I feel more full, more rounded, more concentrated, more focused. So I really enjoy the program. I could go on for days.
Thank you.
So.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much for sharing with us.
Oh, Robert is right in front of me. So go ahead, Robert.
Hey, everybody. So my name is Robert. I've been training probably as long as Doug. I started when I was like 15 years old. I've done bodybuilding, powerlifting. I was in the Marine Corps for 21 years. And now I'm a personal trainer. I have my own gym and everything. And I first heard about Doug through the Rick Grayson show. And he was talking about all these exercises. And my question is always, why? I'm a rather tall guy. I'm about 6'3". So a lot of lifts don't fit me well. And I, through a lot of this stuff, I was able to understand why. But I have my own, I've been doing this a long time. I have injuries and stuff, but I see all these exercises like pull-ins, cable squats, and you go into a gym and you do stuff and people look at you like you're crazy. And like she was saying, if you were to go around and correct everyone in the gym, that's all you'd be doing. Yeah. And all you do is show each person the right way to work out. And I think I look forward to the videos. And I mean, I've been doing this a long time, but in the last 5 years, I've probably learned more than I've learned in those last 30 years. So I think the amount of misinformation is just horrible out there. And I appreciate you guys putting out such quality product, because my question was always why. And now I think I got the expert asked why. So.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you, Robert.
Yeah.
Who's our new guest here in the orange tank top?
Wesley.
Welcome.
Wesley.
Oh, Wesley, welcome.
I've been watching y'all for a while, for maybe about 5 years. I came across Doug through Rick Grayson, and I started training, and I used to do overhead presses, rows. Now I always used to feel pain. I used to do pretty much all of the exercises, 4 or 5 exercises for back, 4 for chest, 5 for biceps, because I thought that was right. But I started watching the videos, and then I changed my whole training method. So now I only do one to 2 exercises per body part, and I've been seeing real good results. And I'm also a personal trainer, and I teach my clients the same way, and they always have a good workout. They feel good. Changing the intensity, so they pretty much always have a real good workout. And me explaining, okay, we're gonna do leg extensions instead of a barbell squat, because I don't want you to put no load on your spine. And doing 2 or 3 sets of leg extensions with a good intensity, they feel real good, or a sissy squat. So sometimes you get people look at you in the gym and they look at you crazy because they don't know what you're doing, because everybody's doing the same thing, deadlifts, cable squats. But when I explain it to them, and I always say, come join me, come have a workout with me. And they do, and they be like, wow, that was intense. How do you know this? How do you know all this information? Like, you know a lot. And I think by having a program and applying the program and doing the exercises, it puts you, it gives you a advantage. And because a lot of personal trainers don't know this information, or a lot of people in general. So that's why I love it. I got real good results. The people I work with get real good results. So yeah.
You know, people have always assumed in the weight training world that the harder you work, the heavier you lift, the better the result. But what I explain to people is, I say, imagine that I have an investment tool for you. And I say, if you invest $6 in this tool, it'll pay you $3. And you go, okay, great. And you like getting $3 every time you invest the 6. So you get $3, $3, $3, and you think that's great. Then I say, but you know what? I've got this better investment. It costs you $3 and it pays you $6. Well, now I don't have to invest $6. I invest half as much energy, dollars, and I get twice the reward. Why would you ever go back to the one that pays you less for more of an investment, right? It just makes sense. But until someone tries it, it's hard for them to wrap their head around it, because the conventional wisdom, the dogma has been, you know, compound exercises are king. And so it's hard to sometimes think logically when you have all of this distraction going on. Even if it doesn't make sense to you, I've noticed that some people still gravitate back to the compound exercise because they're more emotionally driven than they are logically driven.
Yes. And sometimes you go around the gym and you see everybody doing everything wrong. So that's one of the things.
Or less than ideally, right? So in compromised way, I like to say, because people get offended when you say you're doing it wrong. I would say, well, you're doing a compromised exercise right. You're doing the exercise right. So congratulations for that, but it's a compromised exercise. It requires a bigger of investment and more risk of injury, but it pays you less than another exercise could.
But I love it. I'm still using the program. I'm doing the build and burn program, and it's real intense, and I've been seeing results.
Awesome. Thank you, Wesley.
No problem.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris.
Hi. Well, it's great to meet you. Like people
Are
say,
you Irish?
Sorry?
Are you Irish?
Welsh.
Welsh, okay.
Yeah, Wales, UK. Same as Renzo.
All right, lovely.
So I followed your work for over 6 years. The first video I saw was perpendicular levers for maximum muscle growth.
With the Rick Drayson?
With Rick Drayson, yeah, with Rick Drayson. So I'm a high school teacher of mathematics, and we teach mechanics as part of our courses. So when I saw that on YouTube, I thought, wow, that's different to all the other videos I've ever watched. And I just listened to you speaking then, and I thought, wow, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's speaking my language. So yeah, when you said about the putting the cable like on your elbow, then following the fibers of the chest, and then you get a perpendicular lever and so on. And I thought, yeah, that's fascinating. I didn't at that time know about the resistance curve of a muscle. So learning that was brilliant. There's certain things I did know. For example, when you see people doing a lift, lateral raise, and they bend their elbow and they sort of do this sort of thing with a heavier weight.
Yeah.
So the longer the lever, the more force the pivot experiences.
Yeah.
So I always saw that in the gym and thought, these people don't know what they're doing.
Right.
But at that point, I didn't know the resistance curves. So little bits like that I already knew. And like when I was younger, it was all about the bench press. We were all into that. But squatting for me, like when you stand up, none of your muscles are working then. And all that is compressing your body. And I thought, I'm not getting involved with that. I never liked doing that.
Mm-hmm.
People are talking there about seeing people doing things wrong in a gym, and you're tempted to go with them, but you can't do that. But I've had the opposite. Someone's come on to me in a gym because I saw one of your videos where you were talking about the middle traps shrugging inwards. So I was experimenting. The piece of equipment I could only do like shrug backwards like that. So I was just experimenting with that. And someone who was he told me he was a trainer of 30 years. He goes, "You're doing that wrong. You need to pull your arms all the way back." So I explained to him, I said, the traps don't actually attach to your arms. So that is pointless. And he had a hard time taking that on board. So that's my only experience of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit off-putting for someone, a trainer, who has gained a certain amount of confidence, whether it's well placed or not, to be told that what he has been teaching to other people isn't quite right. So it's a little bit of an ego thing, and part of the problem that we all have is that in order for something to make sense, you have to explain it. And sometimes explaining takes a while, and sometimes it takes visuals. And then it takes them some time to digest it. So when you tell someone the abs don't connect to the legs, so how could they be raising the legs? There are people who go, but I've gotten good ab results doing leg raises. But on second thought, it's not all I've been doing.
Yeah.
I've also been doing crunches. So how do I really know that it's the leg raises that we're doing it or not doing it? And so it takes some processing. It's an emotional thing.
Yeah, there's a saying, you throw enough shit, some sticks, and that's the sort of things, you throw everything on the wall.
Yeah.
Like I'm a teacher, so in school we've got students there who play rugby and do various athletic things. So I'm just trying to educate them as much as I can. Explain why you select exercises, why squats aren't the best option for quad development, why they aren't the best option for glute development. And people watching this, I encourage you to learn anatomy, because unless you know that,
right,
you're just going to go wrong. On the course, I love the way that you explain the mathematics easily for people, because I'm straight away in trigonometry mode, and people really don't want to learn that. So like when you say 100%, 50%, that's just much easier to explain to people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if you're thinking of doing the course and you put off, it's explained really easily and accessible for anybody. You don't need any expertise in any of it.
Mo and I did an interview with a couple of engineers, structural engineers, who know all about the physics. And they said, we're guilty of that too, because we don't know the anatomy. Unless you know where the muscles connect, you're in the gym, even though you know what an active lever is or what a neutral lever is, as these people did, they still did the wrong exercises because they didn't know the anatomy, and they assumed the people who are teaching this stuff must know what they're doing. But they said, now when you've explained the anatomy to us, now you're 100% right. The physics does dictate that this is an inefficient exercise and this is an efficient exercise. Yeah,
definitely. So just to conclude my part to anyone like this, unless you have this information that Doug and Mo they're spreading the word about this, you are blind in the gym, really. I mean, it's like light switches go on when you learn each section of the course. Light switches go on, and you're no longer blind, and you understand why you've selected an exercise and why it's efficient.
Thank you very much, Morgan. We're happy to have you with us.
So congratulations on your award.
Oh, thank you very much.
Trainer of the year.
Yeah, trainer of the year. How
Fantastic.
about that?
Well deserved.
Thank you very much. Yeah, about time. 45 years later.
and I say well deserved in part because your content is good, but also because your mannerism is spectacular. You are such a gentleman, and you have such a passion for teaching and sharing knowledge, and a gentleness to you that puts people at ease. And so that's really the hallmark of an excellent trainer, is to know the science, but to also have the personality and the nature to be kind and gentle and thorough. And
well, that's I'm grateful for that. Thank you so much. That's very nice of you to say. So my little story, and Doug's heard it all before, because I've been doing the biomechanics thing for about 2 years now. I guess I was one of the first.
Right.
Yeah. I actually competed against Doug at the World Championships in Ireland, but I didn't realize it was him, because when you're in competitive mode, you're just focused on yourself. So I got to shake Doug's hand. Yay!
Yeah, we have a photo of that. You're shaking hands.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah. But so I apologize for not bowing down to you.
No,
okay?
no, that's silly.
But it was it was a very partisan crowd, and the judges were very partisan, and I think that was my last competition, actually. So so after that I went into full-time coaching, and I coached in a bodybuilding gym, but I never ever did bench press ever, because many years ago when I was younger, it just didn't suit me, and I picked up a book called Unleashing the Wild Physique by Vince Gironda. So I kind of modeled my training around his. So I never did a lot of compound exercises, although I did do them. And I always questioned them. And I actually did a video on bench press about 6 or 8 years ago, and it's had something like 860,000 views. Now, I didn't know anything about mechanics or anything like that, but I think it was pretty much going in the right direction, but I got an awful lot of flack for it, a lot.
Yeah, right.
I got abused big time, death threats and all sorts of things.
Yeah, it's amazing how passionate people are about some of these old school exercises.
Yeah, it was quite scary. So yeah, that's been the most viewed video I've ever made, and it's not really good, to be honest with you. But anyway, I eventually got the opportunity to open up a studio called Momentum in Cardiff, where I live. And all my clients are over 50, every one of them. And every one of them is not a bodybuilder. They're just ordinary people who have realized that they have to prioritize their health. And I love that.
And some with handicaps.
And some with handicaps. I have two. One of them, Margot. She's completely blind.
Right.
And that was really scary for me, because I always remember you saying, Doug, she must be able to partially see to understand this biomechanics thing that she's been talking to me about. I remember you saying that to me. But when she turned up, she's completely blind.
Wow. And she is such a great spirit, isn't she?
Yeah. Oh,
what courage and enthusiasm.
What a lovely, lovely lady.
Yeah.
So she travels from London, and London to Cardiff is a long way.
Wow.
Maybe not in California terms, but she has to get from her home to the train station, from the train station then to Cardiff, and then into a taxi cab, and then to the Momentum.
Amazing.
So it's 3 or 4 hour journey just to get to me. Then she trains for 2 hours.
Wow.
And then does the same journey all the way home again.
And she customized her attic.
Oh yeah, she did.
She got some guy her attic with pulleys and
yeah, I know.
Amazing.
She's crazy, and she's crazy as well. She dances and she sings. She's an award-winning actress.
Wow.
And but she doesn't want me to put anything on social media, because I'd love to put that on social media.
She's an amazing star. Yeah.
But she likes her anonymity, so I've got to respect that.
Yeah, of course.
And then the other lady is a lady called Linda. So we're restricted in the biomechanics side of things, in that she's permanently in a wheelchair, and I go to her house. She's got MS, and she's 73 years old now. Wow. So I'm very proud of her, because she fights the pain. Today she wasn't very good, and she was in a lot of pain, but she still wanted to train. So we trained, So we do what we can with bands, because it's in her home.
Yeah. Well, when you know the biomechanics, you can work around anything.
Yes, that's right. So, as long as we move in the direction that the muscle fibers work, that's what we try and do. But it's still very difficult with MS, because the connection, the brain synapse to the muscle is it's crazy. Your hands shake all over the place, and it's a very difficult one. So yeah. But most of my clients, they came to me with not so good health. And then I saw you on YouTube, and I didn't like what I heard. I thought, who the hell is this guy think he is? You know?
Yeah, that's right. And I've been told that.
Yeah. So
by others.
I thought, wait a sec, what's he on? What the heck is he on about? You know? So, so I tried without contacting you to disprove you, you know? I tried. Yeah. But instead I got better.
Yeah.
So I gave in the end, and I don't like giving up because I'm not one of those that kind. I'm a very competitive guy, but I had to relent in the end and contact you guys and thought I'd better do this course because I think it's.
In other words, your logical side overruled your emotional side.
Yes, I was initially emotional, just like all the other guys are, you know, that follow the old school dogma.
All right.
I came from a hardcore gym, so I only knew hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so when I saw you, I thought, oh God, here's another YouTuber, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
But no, you know, it all made sense. The science made sense, and it was just fantastic. And I have to say that I'm 62 years old now, and I've made fantastic gains in 2 years from doing your program. And all my clients, they don't know any different. They just know Doug Brignole's biomechanics because that's the only thing they've ever known. Some people never stepped into a gym until they came to my studio.
Right.
So that's all they've ever known, which is great.
Yeah, I'm using the Brig 20. I'm working out in a garage. I'm getting amazing results. I'll be competing next year again. My lats are wider than they've ever been.
What are you doing?
It's shocking to me. Well, I just once I switched from the the 5-way split to the 3-way split, the twice a week program, and reduced my sets, my growth went crazy.
Right.
And I thought, boy, you know, if I had been training like this when in my 20s and 30s, I would have done much better back then. There's no doubt about it. But if you would have told me back then that this was the right way to train, I wouldn't have believed you.
I agree.
We were all conditioned to think Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know, 4 sets per exercise, 20 sets per body part.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. I can't believe you competed again. It's unbelievable.
I'm enjoying training more than almost ever. I'm getting new stretch marks. Can you believe this? This is insane. I'm 62 years old. I'm getting brand new stretch marks.
Oh my God. Well, I have to say I still have that old school intensity when I train, but I do it with your methods.
Yeah, right.
And it was great to train with Chris, who you've just spoken to.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I saw. I was happy to see the two of you together.
My fellow Welshman, and we had a great workout. But I still go on, Chris.
So it took about 8 days for my quads to recover from that, Renzo. So thank you.
I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry about that. Well, Doug knows what I mean. You know, competitiveness is a competitive bodybuilder trains a little differently to the layman. So but no, it was good fun, and it was great to have a fellow biomechanics guy to train with because I didn't need to explain anything to Chris, and neither did he have to explain anything to me. We just did it.
Yeah, right.
We just worked out. It was brilliant.
Right.
You know? So yeah, all my clients are doing well. They're all making gains. I'm in the best condition I've ever been in. Just have to say that the program is fantastic. You've heard me speak about it online, and you know, I'm proud to be part of your family, as I call it.
We're happy to have you.
Thank you very much. And I'm enjoying the process, and I'm just going to keep going with it and keep talking about it, and hopefully, you know, the family will get bigger.
Yeah,
and,
right. Absolutely.
And I wish you and Mo the best of success in the future.
Thank you so much.
All right.
The other Doug.
Oh, the other Doug.
There he is.
Funny.
Okay.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, great. Good to see everybody. I was so excited when Mo posted that there's going to be a Zoom call. I got to get on this. So, matter of fact, it's interesting. When I first called Mo, and when I said this is Doug Burke, he thought it was Doug Brignole, and I said no, no, I'm not as big as this guy.
You said I'm Doug B.
Right.
Oh yeah, Doug B. I signed my books, Doug B.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
No, just a little background. So I've been training for 50 plus years. Got my first weight set, a Joe Weider Big 16 set when I was 12.
Where are you located?
So Now I'm in Colorado, but I
Ah.
lived in California for many years.
Okay.
But yeah, I've been in Fort Collins, Colorado, about 50 miles north of Denver. And so, of course, in that time, I've tried all kinds of training techniques. Bought all the bodybuilding magazines, and the program I was doing just before I learned about your program was a bigger, leaner, stronger. And of course, it's about compound exercises. And he'd have his charts that for you to be considered strong, you have to be able to do this much with, military press and all that. And so yeah, I was trying that, and of course, the shoulder pains. Of course, he's big on the heavy incline bench press. And so I think I first heard about your book from Jerry Brainham. He mentioned, hey, this is really smart information. I didn't think your book wasn't published yet, but I wrote the book down, because I thought, I'm going to try to get this sometime. And then I heard you on Rick Drayson. And I think one of the first things I heard, you're talking about the incline press and the fact that you're not actually moving to the origin of the pec muscle. And I thought, you got to be kidding me, really? All these gyms have all these incline benches, and in all the magazines, you're seeing them doing these heavy bench press. So I went into my basement gym. I grabbed the dumbbell at an incline, and I just started working that and kind of feeling, my upper chest isn't really, I'm not feeling that much. I'm feeling it in my anterior deltoid. No wonder my deltoids and my front shoulders are hurting all the time. And so from there, I knew this is some smart stuff. So then I continued with that. And I've been training, with this program for a couple of years now. I'm 63 now, but like you're saying, I look so forward to my training. Now my shoulders and my back are stronger than when I was doing heavy, dumbbell presses or heavy deadlifts. So anyway, many thanks to you for doing this, because, once in a while you come across a body of knowledge that is gold, and that's what this is. So this is, I consider, the gold standard of training. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Doug. The thing is that there's a lot of people out there preaching different stuff.
Right.
So when we come along and preach different stuff, people don't know which is which. They don't know that every once in a while, different is right.
Right.
99.9% of the time, different is not right.
Right.
Because there's a lot of people out there whose goal it is not to do something that makes sense, but to do something that makes them different than everybody else.
Right.
They're just trying to distinguish themselves and put, stake a flag, on the, and this is my identity. This is my calling card. Right. But if it doesn't make sense logically or scientifically, then it's just moot. My goal was never to be different. In fact, when I started experimenting with different angles and things in my teens, 16, 17 years old, there wasn't an industry. There was no fitness industry.
Right.
There wasn't a trainer industry. So I was only fascinated by it. I did cadaver dissections, and I studied anatomy, and I studied physics, all for me, just because I wanted to make my training better. I wanted to get an advantage in my training. And I wanted to make it more comfortable, more enjoyable, more productive, more efficient. And then I would be doing these unusual exercises in gyms, and people would be coming up to me. One guy in particular came up to me one time, this guy named Dan Holtz. He has a funny story. He said, I saw Doug sitting backward on one of those side raise machines, and he wasn't holding the handles. He was turned the other way. He was turned the other way, and he was doing one arm at a time. And the first thing I thought is, this guy is using the machine wrong. Then the second thing I thought is, he looks good, and he seems to be very intentional. Doesn't seem to be haphazard about how he's doing it. So after you moved on, I went to the machine and I started doing it that way. And I went, holy shit, this feels way better. Like I know something, right? So then he started asking me some questions. And actually, Dan is one of the ones that most encouraged me to write the book. He said, you've got to put this down. He says, this is gold stuff. He goes, every time I talk to you, he said, I feel like pulling out the tape recorder.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what happened is, I never thought I was going to go public with this. Was never my intention to teach it. I just loved it, fascinated for my own benefit. And then I thought, there's a lot of people out there that probably would appreciate, learning a better way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's my story.
Glad you did it. Glad, because it's powerful.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Yeah, that Doug.
Yeah.
I just thought I would stop by.
No.
Ilmas. Hello, Ilmas.
Yeah. Hello, sir. How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Thank you very much. Can I ask you something?
Of course.
I am an engineer. I'm civil engineer. I'm about 30 years engineer. I studied your book maybe 20 times. Watched your videos. And, did you get any education or something about engineering? Because everything you are doing, it's about body engineering, like angles and muscles, and makes sense if you have studied engineering.
Right. Yeah. By the way, thank you for that. We've talked to other engineers who, like you, say this is correct. This engineering, this physics is correct. No, I didn't study in a formal university. I studied on my own. I read physics books, but classical mechanics is basic, is elementary, right? It's not. We're not talking about astrophysics. By the way, thank you for displaying the book in the back. We appreciate that.
My home gym. I have a home gym. You can see. I train every
how
day.
lovely. Well, wonderful, fantastic. Yeah. Well, you look fantastic. You look like you're pretty dedicated.
I'm 54 years old.
Wonderful. Congratulations. You look fantastic.
You. Last 2 years, you changed you changed my life.
Oh, thank you, sir.
I've been training about 25 years, and maybe I did almost every trick in the Bible of bodybuilding, but not like you're putting in the direct right path of building the body and injury-free, of course.
Yeah. Thank you. That's wonderful. That's the intention.
Sometimes I used to do squats and deadlift. It wasn't making any sense because it doesn't give me the pump or make aching joints and hurt my joints. And after I started doing your ways of training, leg extension and sissy squat, right now I'm doing the pendulum sissy squat.
Right.
By the way, it's great, very great training.
Thank you.
It's more than enough.
Yeah.
Right now, I can't go back doing that previous movement I was doing before. So thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah, the idea of doing those old school exercises again now, after you've learned a better way, better for the joints, better for the muscle, better for energy efficiency, it's ridiculous to go back.
And I feel I test every 6 months. I test my testosterone is getting higher, more than before.
Right. Because as I say to people, like, when you think about heavy lifting, the definition of heavy lifting is a degree of effort. It's not a weight, right?
Yes.
So if you're lifting as heavy as you can for this particular exercise, it doesn't matter how much weight it is. If you're lifting for a set of 6 or a set of 8 reps, that's heavy lifting. That muscle is working in the heavy category, right? It doesn't matter how much weight is being moved. I mean, in many cases, you could be doing heavier weight for more reps. That's less heavy lifting, right? What heavy lifting is a degree of effort.
1 month ago, I started the build and burn program. I did the month 1 yesterday. I finished it. I gained about 3 kilos in this 1 month. It didn't make sense. I'm training every other day, whole body part. It's great.
But fewer sets.
Even my fasting blood sugar is dropped down, and I feel more healthier.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I had the same experience. I gained muscle when I trained fewer sets more often.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Yilmaz, for joining us.
Thank you, Mo. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, last person on this call is Paul Erickson.
Yeah, Paul was before the sex change.
Hey, Paul.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Why are you shirtless?
Well, I was just working out, and I remember we got this. We had this Zoom call, and so I ran from my gym, which is on the other side of the house, to here.
I hope you're wearing pants.
Well,
Or shorts.
I never do, even when I'm driving, but that's a different story.
Okay, but in any case, don't stand up.
Okay. Well, I'm a
Well,
white guy. Wouldn't make much
this
difference.
view is perfectly good enough for us. Thank you.
Okay. No, I mean, I kind of in the same boat as everybody else. I've been training for years, probably 40 years at least. And everything was just the basic bench press, shoulder press, everything that went with it. And I believe everybody, they're looking for the best system. They're looking for the best exercises so they can maximize their efficiency, spend maybe less time in the gym. Why spend an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours with some guys if you can do the same thing in an hour? So that's what really piqued my interest. And of course, between how I got to know you, Doug, is through a mutual friend.
Right.
That we know. Monty Butler. His actual name is Montana Butler, which I kind of wonder if his parents maybe smoked a little bit too much pot when they named him. But that's how we met. And just looking at the science of it, my background is, even though I was in law enforcement, I went to college for electrical engineering. So there was a lot of math, a lot of physics, and it just made sense. It made sense. And a lot of times when you talk to someone in a gym, whether it was a trainer or someone else that was doing something, you'd ask them, well, why are you doing this? And a lot of times they really couldn't say. They would just say, definitively. In other words, this is what it does. They tell you a general broad term, like, oh, well, it's for your biceps, or it's, Arnold does them, and look how big he is, or Larry Scott, he was the first guy to have 20-inch arms as a Mr. Olympian. So look, he's doing preacher curls. He's doing a Larry Scott curl. And I always thought, I was one of those type of guys that said, well, that isn't really enough information for me, just because everybody else is doing it. What is the most efficient way to do it? So by doing it, I've been constantly telling people that I know the proper way to train is through your system. But the biggest thing is, I think it's very difficult for human beings in general, whether it's politics, religion, you name it, to break away from the crowd. I mean, we all want to belong to a group. We all want to feel that we belong, more or less.
Yeah.
And just be able to set aside those opinions, because most people think their opinions are actual fact, which they really aren't. They're, if I come to you and say, I believe, my opinion is strawberry ice cream is the best tasting ice cream there is, you could come back and say, no, I think chocolate is. But I can be upset. A lot of people get upset and like, how dare they question my opinion, that mine's the best,
Yeah.
So I found that the hardest thing for me is to convince people to break away from the old paradigm. It's just, they just have a hard time doing it.
Yeah.
And they'll look for every excuse.
People we have a tendency to make whatever our beliefs are part of our identity. As you said, part of a group, right? So when you tell someone that a belief that they've had isn't quite correct, the subconscious brain tries to say, you're attacking my identity. I can't let that go because that's part of who I am.
Right.
And if you've been a trainer and you've been teaching us, a certain kind of exercise for a certain number of years, you might also feel like your reputation is on the line. What will people think if all of a sudden now everything I taught them, and I say, well, actually, I wasn't quite teaching. So the more invested you are in a belief, the harder it is to break away from it. That's why in Renzo's case, he's starting with some people with a clean slate, which is much easier. But people that have been doing it, like in Robert's case, for many, many years, it takes a logical mind and a certain amount of, courage to say, well, maybe there is a better way. Maybe this does make more sense.
I feel great. As a matter of fact, I was in Moab and I was biking with some young guys, and they had a hard time keeping up with me. And I mean,
stronger muscles that are stronger will do more work, will do better sports. Right. It doesn't matter how you strengthen them as long as they're stronger.
Right. And I would never go back. I would never go back. I tell everybody that, and I've done it. Like
once you go break, you never go back.
You just don't. I mean, it's stupid. Why would you put yourself through all that pain and misery and suffering and, I mean, I didn't, I mean, deadlifts are a bitch, man. I'll tell you, anything up over 600 pounds, you pull them up, you're using everything you can. And afterwards you're drained and your back is hurting, and it doesn't make sense. But
it doesn't make sense.
It's a macho thing in the gym. You look good in the gym, you're pulling up heavy weight, but
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Doug. Do you have anything to say before
I just
we
wanted
wrap
to
it
see, how much. I think we're out of time now.
Yes, but I love this video. I honestly like to keep in touch with our community. It's all about building a strong community and belonging to a strong community where we can share the same knowledge and we empower each other with something that we all share, and we try different ways. Yilmaz last time was trying something and he shared it with us. Everyone is sharing on the group. This also help us to be inspired to come up with more videos that will help you in your practice and even in my own training, because sometimes you don't know where you can learn. So we can continue doing this in the future, and maybe we'll talk a little bit more about the Build and Burn program. Today we talked about the physics of fitness. So thank you very much, guys, for joining us on the call today. It was a pleasure to meet you all, and we will do it again soon.
Great.
Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate the nice things you said.
Thank you. And next
Thanks
time
a
I
lot.
promise to wear a shirt.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, guys.
Have a good
Take
rest
care,
of your day.
bud.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.